So expecting what worked for you 20 years ago, in fact, expecting what worked for you 5 years ago, let alone 20 years ago, that's the first thing that we have to realise. So there's more competition now than ever. So that's the first thing to realise. And on top of more competition, our audience are way more educated and they have more access to information. So they can get online and say, I've got this, what should I do? And they're finding online sources of expertise. You know, the practitioner or the YouTube expert that's put themselves on there and instantaneously become an expert on sciatica, you know, gut biome, whatever it is.
Welcome to the Marketing Your Practice podcast. We're leading a healthcare revolution by showing natural health and fitness experts how to become community influencers so they can build profitable, predictable and enjoyable practices. And now your hosts, Angus, Pyke and Tony Rose.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you in the day. Welcome to the Marketing Your Practice podcast. T, how are you?
I'm great, mate.
Beanie on today because I feel like it's winter here. For those of you watching on the video, for those of you listening, this will mean nothing to you, but you do have your beanie on today.
I do have a beanie on. The bald head gets a little cold. It's only 13 degrees here in Melbourne this morning. Well, it was 11, now it's 13, so I'm a bit chilly. A bit chilly, not so chilly that you have to put a jumper on, but cold head. Hey, today we're going to talk about what does it take to succeed in practice in 2019. So I think there'll be two groups of people that this will be really important for. One, if you're thinking about setting up a new practice, right now you're a new grad, you've moved into a new area, then today's going to be really helpful. Or if you've been in practice for a long time and what's worked for you in the past isn't working, then we're going to talk all about, you know, how to succeed in 2019. If you're a complementary health, wellness, fitness expert, we're going to take you step by step through some strategies, and then also we'll dive deep into some tactics as well. Sound fair? Sounds really fair. And I guess for me, there's the principle that we need to look at how our own lives are going and how our own lives have changed to set the framework, I guess, for what works in practice. In that, what are you guys doing now is you're listening to us on a podcast. Now, podcasts didn't exist 10, 15, 20 years ago. How did you consume your information? Well, it was just a lot harder, wasn't it? Yeah. You know, you'd go to a live seminar at best. You might have had to travel thousands of miles to get to said seminar because there wasn't an expert where you are in the world, particularly here in Australia. It was hard to get content. Whereas now, we are consuming content. We've got people inside our community influencer membership site, which is totally done online. I'm consuming podcasts on a daily basis. Yes, I still read books. I'm looking at online training courses. I'm looking at videos on YouTube. All this stuff didn't occur.
Very different.
When we graduated. And
it's different. It is different. So Life Chiropractic, where we're recording this at the moment at the back of my practice, 20 years ago I set this practice up, and really in those days it wasn't much more complicated than hanging your shingle up and saying we're open for business. Now we did a bunch of marketing, but it certainly wasn't necessary. We were talking with Lisa earlier on, one of our coaching clients. She had the same experience here in Melbourne. It would have been the same down in Geelong where you started your practice as well. The big part of what allowed us to be successful in those days there was a simple business concept of supply and demand. So if you think about now, if you're not a chiropractor, but run this through your filter there, and you said, look, I'm a chiropractor, and the vast majority of people that were coming in to see might have been with some kind of musculoskeletal concern. You know what, I wanted to deal with my shoulder, my neck, my head, my back was sore. We often talk about this, 20 years ago, and that's not all that long, what were my choices? So certainly here in Australia, it was like, okay, I could go to the chiropractor. I knew that's kind of what chiropractic did. I could go to what we call the physiotherapist here in Australia, or physical therapist perhaps over in the States, those kind of things there too. Maybe I could go to the GP, my general practitioner. You went along to them if you just wanted some drugs. I could do nothing. Maybe get a massage, but that was really, they're my big choices.
That was about it.
So I was kind of one of 5 choices now. And we look at what I'm competing with nowadays in my community. Let's go through them.
Across the road, yoga,
yes.
Pilates,
yes.
Barre,
yes.
Thai massage, Chinese massage,
yes.
Podiatrist, myotherapist,
yes.
Massage therapist,
personal trainer,
exercise physiologist around the corner.
The gym down the road, that Kaiser gym, which is focused specifically, is it Kaiser? It is.
Something like that. A physiotherapy-based rehab thing.
Yes.
Endless.
Yes. And then multiple different kinds of yoga and stuff too. Pilates, did we say that?
Pilates, yeah. No, yeah.
So there's all of these different choices that people now have. So that alone... And then
in abundance, I think, is the thing. Is like within 200 metres of this place are all those people.
And I reckon when we graduated 20 years ago, there was less than 4,000 chiropractors. In fact, I think that was probably closer.
It was 2.5.
Yeah, I was going to say closer.
2.5.
So there's even more chiropractors now as well. So expecting what worked for you 20 years ago, in fact, expecting what worked for you 5 years ago, let alone 20 years ago, that's the first thing that we have to realise. So there's more competition now than ever. So that's the first thing to realise. And on top of more competition, our audience are way more educated and they have more access to information. So they can get online and say, I've got this, what should I do? And they're finding online sources of expertise. Mm-hmm. The practitioner or the YouTube expert that's put themselves on there and instantaneously become an expert on sciatica, gut biome, whatever it is. They're taking advice from that person. So that's factor number 2. And then the third factor is that
people are just so much more skeptical. Almost because of that other reason as well, is that we've become inundated. The amount of messages that we're getting day in, day out means that our filter, we've put this extra filter on. Our crap detectors are, on big time. Yeah. Trying to filter out what's true, what's not true, who's having us on, who's not having us on. All that stuff is going on. And it's going on millisecond after millisecond as we're thumbing through whatever it is we're thumbing through. People are just super skeptical about messages nowadays.
I've heard it said before, there's more information than ever, but perhaps less wisdom.
That's a good point.
And that'll cut into what we're going to talk about as far as solutions go. It's not a lack of information that's out there anymore. In fact, almost anything that you want to learn how to do, from build a rocket to build a car to market your chiropractic practice, naturopathic practice, is available for free. We're a perfect example. We're sharing this now for you for free. We're giving you, hopefully, not just information, but wisdom as well. Typically, what so many people, when they start to think a little bit about their practice, they go, okay, well, and what we see so many businesses do nowadays is the way they compete is on price. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be. So we see Amazon being enormously successful. We see Uber and Airbnb. They offer lots of things, but one of the big things they offer is a more cost-effective solution. Now that works in some areas, but there it inevitably becomes a race to the bottom, which means when you win, you actually lose because why should I come and see you? Well, my visits are less than yours. Instead of an adjustment being $60, we're 55, and then 54, and then 45, and then it gets to the stage where it's just not profitable. So the first thing I want to really make a point of here is don't play that game. There's no winner in a race towards the bottom when you're trying to compete on price alone, unless you're playing a commodity game where there's massive numbers. You're selling milk, bread, your Amazon, because there'll always be someone bigger that can come along that can compete more on you. So really it comes back to this concept of this. If you are to succeed in 2019, what I want you to understand is there is a direct relationship between the success of your practice and
the amount of people who know, like, and trust you.
Yeah. So that's the game we're playing. More people knowing, liking, and trusting you. In essence, the rest of this podcast, we're going to talk about strategies and tactics and overall ways to get more people knowing, liking, and trusting you so your phone is ringing and there's good, high-quality people who want to come in and see you and work with you the way you want to work with people.
That's it. Yeah. Having a practice full of people that you love looking after.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts?
Well, I think there's so many different strategies, isn't there, that we could go through. But I think, if we look at those things, knowing, liking, trusting, and we look at what some people are doing at the moment, which is the ad style kind of, and it might get people knowing you, come in for a half price consultation, etc. But it does nothing for the like or trust.
Yes,
because they know you exist.
Yes,
but that is it. What we want to do is have some strategies, and it's not just having one strategy; it's having a smorgasbord of strategy. Playing into our practice multiplier of being everywhere, having that we want them to know that we're here and that we're open for business, but we want them to like us. And we want them to trust us.
Yeah. I like the multiple strategy thing, and that's something that Alan Dibb says, who we've interviewed before, and he's the guy that wrote the one-page marketing plan. Great guy.
Go back and check out the last episode.
And because for so many of us, our strategy grow our practice is all on internal referrals, which if you've got an existing patient base, there's some logic inside of that. We love internal referrals. They are a great reflection of whether you're doing a great job or not. But Alan has this paragraph in his book where he says, internal referrals are like a free lunch. And if your entire strategy of feeding your family is finding free lunches, they're going to be hungry. So if your strategy for building your practice is all on internal referrals only, your chances of being successful are minimised. Now, it's not, because we say this too. Lots of people say, oh, well, I built my whole practice on internal referrals. I go, yeah, 20 years ago you did. Or, you like the practice. Tony occasionally goes and works at a practice in Broken Hill. Mm-hmm. Like you're the only chiropractor
Only
there.
chiropractor in town.
Yeah. So, they don't need to be doing a lot of marketing when that's the case. They're doing a good job. They've got practice multiplier number one. They're good at what they do. There's no other choice. So in that situation there, it's like you're back 20 years ago because there's not massage therapists, there's not other chiropractors, there's not a Pilates or a Chinese, massage place on every second corner there too. So be careful with that. What we're not saying is, we're not saying that internal referrals are unimportant. They are. And if you're not getting them, then it is a reflection that you're probably not doing a great job. But don't have your whole practice be based on internal referrals. And it is what you're saying, is that every time you're reaching out into your community, are you fulfilling those three needs of knowing, liking, and trusting? And it's neat. I like the way you put it. I've not thought of it from that point of view. If you put an ad in there that just says this, 50% off your next visit, come and get your blood work done, all that kind of stuff there too. How is that having people like and trust you? They become known, and it should be maybe part of your strategy.
Well, and I think this leads on to where we want to get into with this discussion, is that ad gets to, they know about the practice, your business name, but do they know even you as a person? And I'd argue, well, probably not.
Yeah.
So if they don't know you as a person, and this comes into that kind of brand you message and personal brand, which is where Angus and I think that the practice of the future or the practice of now should be built on, is that they don't know you.
Yeah.
They know the business, and that's a very different thing.
The level of that, when I say, here's a word, a community celebrity. That's what you want to see yourself as, becoming a community-based celebrity, which is what Gary experienced that time before he sold his practice there too. Put a video out on the Monday, Tuesday morning went in to buy a coffee. The person on the other side said, hey, I saw your video yesterday, that was ace. Walked outside, walked down the street, had another stranger come up to him saying the same thing. Now what Gary is doing there is differentiating himself. He's adding value, and he's getting more people to know, like, and trust him. Now this can be a bit of a challenge in that what this didn't mean is that those two people didn't make appointments with Gary right away. Yet is a good word. And we need to, in the same way, building a practice is the same way. Us as complementary health practitioners, one of the reasons we love working with you guys is that we have a similar view on health. Health is a process. It's not an event. It takes time. It's something, and you never get there. I can't do all my great eating and my great exercise on Monday and then have Tuesday through Sunday off. I'm going to do it today and I'm going to do it tomorrow. And when we have our patients come to us and they say, man, I just want health results now, is the same as you coming to us and saying, I just want new patients now. It's like, no, we're not going to play that game with you in the same way we're not going to play that game with our patients. It's just for you to really, if you want to numb the pain, head down to the local doctor and get the best drugs you can. If you want to get healthy, then work with us. They're different. They take different time frames as well. If you want to have a thriving practice, if you want to become a community celebrity, then you need to put in these steps that we're talking about too.
So I think the biggest one and the best one to have people know and like and trust you is video.
Yeah.
Like we're doing now. If you're listening to this on the audio, there's a video version. You can see me and my beanie. You can see us, how we interact. You can get such a better view or idea of who we are as human beings better through the video than you can through just the audio, which you'll get our intonations and tonality and expression, that sort of thing. But the video does give you a whole lot more. So we are massive fans, and it's quite funny because we've been talking about this for years, right?
Yes.
Video, and we've always been saying, it is.
Oh, it's now.
It is, and if you're not doing video in your practice, to have more people know, like, and trust you, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
Because person down the road will.
And there's this phase. We interviewed Lisa Smitch. Got it right?
Smitch. Yep.
Rhymes with itch. Gorgeous gal. And we're talking about her journey through, her goal in practice is to remove herself from the practice, so she can become a bit independent from it, take some long holidays. She's been in practice a little bit longer than I've been, 30 years. She went through this stage, and I can remember talking with Lisa in the early days, because when we talk with people about video, one of the challenges they go through is, oh my God, what am I going to make my videos about? Once you get it, once you know that what your videos are really about is just this, and Tony was the one that puts it beautifully, just be cool and helpful. When you get into the mind frame of being cool and helpful, Lisa's now at this stage now where she has too much content. And she did a great thing, because getting people to know, like, and trust you, she had a bunch of her patients telling her about a local shoe shop where they hand make these shoes. So she went down and had a look. They were great, met the gal. She's really quite active on social media. And then Lisa went, you know what, I'm going to ring her up. So she rang her up. She said, how about we do a video together?
A live video,
yeah. Of which this woman said, heck yeah. So she went down there and they did a video that went through 5 things that you should be looking for in buying a shoe. It helped to educate Lisa's audience about caring for a frame. Lisa's a chiropractor. This woman loved it because there was more people, that were finding out about her shoes. She's meeting one of her patients as a professional golfer. She's going to talk with his coach. So all of this content that she's putting out there, that's positioning Lisa as somebody that brings together the right people. She's the Oprah, knows the people to interview, and in the process is building authority as she's going along. So,
absolutely, killer strategy there. 2 in 1 is that community outreach. Who in your area are you not meeting that could be a great way of you becoming and showing your expertise?
Yeah, because there's that awkwardness of you go, all right, I want to go and meet some people in my community, but like, what's my angle? Like, I just want to come in. Hi, I'm Angus. I'm the local chiropractor. We've opened up down the road, and here's some business cards. If it doesn't feel good. The reason that we don't like doing it is it's all about me for starters, and that doesn't work there. And Lisa's flipped that around. She's gone to this because she said, you know what, why don't we do a video? I'll do it all, like live, we'll organise it there too. I'd love to share it with my audience, and we'll boost it out into the community. And all of a sudden,
it's a joint venture.
It's a joint venture. It's in this case, the shoe lady it's clearly what's in it for her.
We interviewed Mark Wade. He put it beautifully. A collaborative marketing exercise, or
yes.
I can't remember the exact wording, but it becomes a collaborative marketing exercise.
So instead of, because there's 2 frameworks that we want people knowing, liking, and trusting us. We spend a lot of time talking about how to do it in the online world, and I don't think we spend enough time talking about how to do it in the offline world. Like, Lisa's mixed those 2 so beautifully, which is what you should be doing. But if you went down to the local gym, for instance, and instead of saying, here's my business cards, if you said, hey, listen, I've got an audience as well, even if it's just a small one, that's your mum and dad at this stage here too. Hey, listen, can I video your gym manager talking about what's great about your gym, who your gym is good for? Can we do a little bit of a tour around there?
Yes, and one that would be even better. Hey, I'm doing a series on low back pain at the moment. Could I do a live video with you showing me your favourite exercises for people suffering lower back pain?
Yeah.
And then the next month it could be neck pain. The next month it could be whatever.
Yeah.
Get them showing their expertise.
Yeah. That avenue, watch how many doors will open to, and it evokes the law of reciprocity. Cialdini in his book Influence talks about that. We can't help but want to do something nice to somebody who's done something nice to us. There is a level of psychic debt that we have. Now, don't do that just to be sleazy. I think the intent is behind it. But if you go out there really with the goal of that, I really do like that collaborative marketing. You brought up to that Mark shared with us too. If that's your approach, that you're going around and you are building knowing, liking and trusting in those avenues by perhaps shining a light on other people's business. But if you're the common denominator that's there all the time, then that's that real farming approach, as opposed to hunting. We get the kill once, but then it's gone. As opposed to when we farm, there's reproducibility. It's the long game that we're playing.
Absolutely.
Well.
Absolutely killer. So what else could we get into? I mean, we could then could we repurpose that and say, okay, well, now we've got these videos that we're doing with other people in the community and that we're doing in our own practice. We could repurpose that. We could rip the audio off that and have that as a podcast series or an audio download. There's lots of different ways that we can use the same content. We could have that content edited, transcribed, and have it as a blog post, which is going to be more content on your site, on your website. There's so many things we can do with that same information over and over and over again. Again, being everywhere, we can have that. We've got a YouTube video, we've got a Facebook Live video, we've got as a blog post, we've got it as a podcast, whether it as an ongoing podcast or as a series. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, hang on, this Tony guy's everywhere.
And I think, because I think one of the things that needs to happen with this modern day practice too is that you need to have a virtual team of supporters, because long term, we don't want you doing the graphic design, shooting and editing the videos, posting the videos, all those kind of things there too. Now, some of that can and absolutely should be done by your support staff, i.e., your chiropractic assistant, your front desk, your receptionist, those kind of things. Particularly, for many of you, my front desk staff here are a good 20 years younger than me, are way more savvy than that. Handball it off to them at their $15 to $25 an hour to be doing that. And on top of that too, you should have some virtual staff helping you with this as well. Head on over to sites like Fiverr. You could, if you want to get somebody more full-time, and maybe you want to do this if you've got 3 practices, says, you know what, we can probably afford to get a social media manager that runs the 3 of our practices. Let's head over to onlinejobs.ph, the Philippines site there. We could have somebody doing that for probably less than $1,000. In fact, what were we paying Mackie was about 800 Aussie? Let's say it is that, because it certainly won't be any more than that too. So for less than 10 grand a year, divide that by 3 offices, and then all of a sudden you've got a full-time staff person. And to be honest, even between 3 practices, you don't need a full-time staff person. But I think it's important for you to be thinking, I've got to invest in this. I'm putting a little bit of money, and perhaps we'll jump into in a moment paid advertising, but have that staff person doing this thing for you, because once you're doing this is going to have you busy looking after patients. You're not going to be having time, unless you're
you're passioned about that.
If you just love doing this stuff, by all means keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next thing, I touched on it, so we'll go on that same point, is that you need to be investing in paid advertising. You won't find a successful company, from Apple to Nike to, you find it there too, that is not investing in paying for its advertising. And yet somehow we think as small businesses that we can get away without doing it. The reason small businesses don't become medium-sized businesses, don't become large businesses, is we're not treating them like proper businesses, where we're not putting our money.
But we're different.
Yeah. Yes.
No, we are. We're different. I'm a chiropractor. I'm different.
They're different because
we have these bullshit stories that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
We are business owners.
Yeah. And one of that, I get it, because you've probably had people giving you budgets for this that are $1,000 a month, and that might be a lot to begin with there too. So let me take the weight off your shoulders. Just start with $1 a day, $30 a month. You can be getting your message in front of, depending on the competition, anywhere between kind of 50 and 500 extra people per day for $1. So, what would you pay if you had a great message that, for instance, hey, Angus here from Life Chiropractic, I got a great question this morning about, the best sleeping postures, particularly if you're having neck problems, and what pillow to choose. So I'm going to shoot a live video, or that's what I'm doing now. And then you went through and showed them what pillow to choose, and then how to sleep. Now, what would you pay to get an audience for you of 50, or in another case for the week, maybe 350 to 5,000 people? You could do that for $7.
And I love what you say, that if $1 a day sounds a lot to you, then you should be spending $2 a day.
Yes.
Because your practice obviously needs more.
Yeah. So these little things done consistently, remember, like we talked about, someone's health is poor beforehand. More often, the thing that's going to get them with greater levels of health quickly is consistent little steps, rather than overwhelming them. You can't get somebody straight into crazy CrossFit exercise. They need to work their way up into it, or we overwhelm them. But that process of, commit to having a paid advertising strategy, and it's never been cheaper for you to do it now, and it's never been easy for you to focus on the people that just live in your area also.
Yeah. Too true, man. Too true. When you get all these different strategies happening, we're paying for people to become our little tribe of people who have started to know, like, and trust you. But as we always talk about, that buyer's cycle, that buyer's journey, having someone to go from not knowing you exist to then calling up and making an appointment may take months. You know, I mean, Alan Dibb told the story. Someone was on his list for 18 months, I think he said, before they called up and said, I want to be a client. I want to have coaching with you.
Yep.
Some people just take a long time. The immediacy of their problem may not be big enough for them to take action. But if they know, like, and trust you over time, they go, damn, this guy knows what he's talking about. He seems like a nice, likeable guy. He seems to have great knowledge. He delivers it well. I reckon it'd be pretty cool to be his patient.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in and see him.
Great. And then perhaps one just to wind and finish this up, and this has been, a drum that we've been beating for a long time. As opposed to me opening up a chiropractic office that said, you know what, from the womb to the tomb, if anyone's got a spine, we're the place for you. I would be getting really tight and focused with what I'm doing, you know. And I think if you're a chiro, and we have lots of chiropractors that listen to this, you know, things like posture, you know, posture's such an easily digestible topic.
And it's a window into anything.
Yeah, it can lead into, you know, I'm going to become the posture gal. You know, that's what I'm about there too. Or maybe I was going to focus on, you know, elite level athletes, headaches, low force kids. And I would have a consistent message each time that's what I'm doing, that's how we go about it. And to build that authority, you know, if I was a naturopath, then, you know, right now, you know, I'd be really focusing on things like the gut and what goes on there. That world is just opening up as we're finding more about gut health. And, you know, once upon a time, gluten-free used to be for the freaks. Now, you don't go out to a restaurant without it being all part of this. It's become part of the lexicon. You know, position yourself, put a flag in the ground that says, I'm the expert on this. And the way you become an expert on it is by consistently showing up and delivering cool and helpful content around one topic. And on that, too, because this is what freaks people out. It's like, I just want to deal with more than just digestive problems. Once you've got the digestive problems nailed, in terms of you've built that audience and authority and expertise, then you can get into another. But I'm telling you, at least for the first 12 months, just put information out about that as well. So any final things that you'd want to add?
Just coming back to that practice multiplier number one, just be great.
Yeah.
Get that nailed first.
Yeah.
You know, don't fill up a bucket with holes in it. Make sure your bucket is secure. Implement these strategies, these ideas we've gone through, and, you know, gangbusters to you.
And if you're paralysed by what is great, previous episodes maybe in the mid-50s, we had a whole episode around there about being great. We've got a checklist, questions to ask. You know, if you answer yes or no to these, it helps to guide you to where you would go, because we don't want to be paralysed by using that as, you know, I'm not good enough yet, I'm not good enough yet, I'm not good enough yet. You do need to be great, but you also don't want to be paralysed by it as well. So good third.
Awesome.
Beanie has performed incredibly well.
Oh, toasty.
So until next time, gang, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to the Marketing Your Podcast podcast. There's too many letters there. If you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, we'd really appreciate if you jump on over to iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify as well. Leave your thoughts, give us a star rating. That's it. Until next time, keep saving lives. Thanks for all that you do. Over and out. Bye.
You've been listening to the Marketing Your Practice podcast, where we help natural health practitioners and wellness experts build profitable, predictable, and enjoyable practices. For more information, please visit www.adiomedia.com.